plane for 21 hours, but that's a long, grueling time. And when I came back from that this past week, just a couple days ago, someone informed me that I had ankles. So that's calves in your ankles. They were very puffed up and full of water. And I don't know if you've ever slushed through snow. You know, it's like shink, shink, shink. That's what it was like on the inside of my ankles. There was just a lot of water from being elevated at that time. I guess it's quite dangerous. You can throw a blood clot, things like that. So, but don't worry about me. We got it under control, so I don't want 400 remedies after Mass, okay? Also, I've picked up the flu, so I've had dysentery the last 40 hours. So I'm very tired. And don't worry about me. I'll get it handled. Just let me sit down. But if I do leave during church, it doesn't mean that I don't love you, okay? I'm taking care of business. So, where I was in Malaysia. I'm going to get my thoughts more together for next week in the homily. But boy, the kids were on fire. Kids were leading the music, and they were just doing everything. And they were really immersed in that fire. And that's what we look for, right? I mean, I think that could be one of the greatest compliments you ever get. Oh, he's on fire. You know, when a basketball player's on fire, he's hitting everything. He's doing it right. You know? And when a Christian is, it's amazing. It's fascinating. It's so alluring. There's so little fire around. Where's the fire in our world? So as I was praying about this homily this weekend, the Holy Spirit took me to a point in my life. I was about 3 years old. I had a little trouble growing up when I was little. I didn't want to let go of the bottle, the bottle. And I was 3 years old and having a hard time letting go of the bottle. So my dad, who's a very good psychologist as well as a dentist, because he dealt with children's dentistry for 40 years, we had a whole ceremony where we went out in the backyard to the burn barrel, and little Johnny was going to throw the bottles in the burn barrel. Bye, bye, bye. Bottles, had videotapes and everything. Of course, my dad, he's no dummy. He left some out just in case I wasn't broken. But he broke the horse through that, I was thinking about that in terms of fire and our God. You got to grow up. You can't stay in a bottle. It'd be really stupid for us and silly if we had bottles, that we're drinking out of as adults. But St. Paul talks about that, doesn't he? He says, you got to move on from the childish food or the child, and you got to move to the food of the adults, the solid food. He references that in his letters as he preaches to the people. So throwing that bottle into the burn barrel, it needs to be it. It needs to be, okay, I've had that time, but it's time to grow up. And it's not going to last, obviously, that bottle. And the purpose of the fire is to be thrown in that fire so what will come out all will last. All the impurities will be taken away, and that which will last. Boy, are we off on that. Boy, are we off on that in our world, that which lasts. Do you think the news is really going to do it? Do you think the Oregonian is really going to do it? And that bottle that we throw into the fire, that bottle's got to be you and me. We've got to be thrown into that fire. So it will take away anything that does not last, and it will prove what lasts. That fire. So we're invited to do that. And we can look at our lives like that. What do I throw myself into all the week long? And fire. And we can look at many things as fire. Obviously, the altar. The altar is fire. And we could pray. And we could pray and say, you know what, this is just some dead piece of wood. This is the fire of God's love burning for us in the Eucharist. And He wants us to come to the Eucharist and to know that, to give ourselves over to it. You know what I noticed in Malaysia, and I think I know how to reach out to people and reach out to kids. It's all sound bites, isn't it? Everything's a sound bite. And it's all visual. How deep are we ever going to get with that? I mean, we're fighting a monster. How deep are we going to ever get with God? How are we going to throw the baby bottle away? How are we going to go deep? And so, but we can pray that we would see this as the fire of God's love, and the tabernacle as the fire, and the cross of Jesus Christ as the fire, and the stations of the cross, and Mary and Joseph and Jesus and the Holy Family as the fire of God inviting us into that light. Because what are they else? What else are they? They're the fire of God. And the oils. We have to become what we receive. And we're invited to that. So I was on the way up from San Diego yesterday, And I was in the airport, and I was walking there. And you know how you kind of can tell, hey, that's somebody I know. Like just really quickly, like you turn around, you're walking, and you're getting ready to go to the gate. And I go, that's got to be Shara. And then I looked around for her husband, Mike. And there was Mike. And Mike was kind of looking off to the side, so I went right in front of him, just stood in front of him. I didn't say anything. And then Mike turned around and goes, Father John! And he hugged me. And we were jumping up and down and up and down and up. Well, maybe a little bit, but he was very excited. It's really cool when somebody gets excited when they see it. I got to work on that. I know that. But it was Mike Sweeney. He was my friend. He's a professional baseball player for 18 years. Kansas City Royals, all-star. He's on fire, and I love being around Mike because he's on fire, and he's talking about something, and it's deep, and it's alluring, and it's so life-giving. And he's not there by accident, brothers and sisters. He's not there because he watches the news for 3 hours a day or reads the Oregonian. He prays. He's on fire. We talked the whole trip to Oakland, him and his wife, and she's on fire. Fire. Faith, igniting, righteous engagement. Fire. Faith, my faith will ignite righteous engagement with the Eucharist, with prayer, with praying the rosary. Parents, you got to get your kids on fire. You got to do it. They aren't going to do that on their own. We got to get each other on fire. Mike and Shara, Mike goes to daily mass. He has a spiritual director. Shara has a spiritual director. I spiritually direct people. It's to help you grow in your relationship with Jesus Christ. To look at things, to engage in fire. It's just amazing. They both have spiritual. 20 years they've been doing this. They're alluring. They're alive. In an age, in a place where it's just so burnt out. Where's the fire? Where's the fire? Who do you know that's fire? They just, I want to be around that. I want to talk about something that remains. What are you talking about? If you're not talking about fire, then we're not engaged with the fire. What do you throw yourself into? I want to say a few things about the fire. Shara was talking to me about her daughter in the car. Cute little kid, 6 or 7 years old now she is. And they were praying a decade of the rosary before they went to bed at night. So, first point is fire is not about feelings. Because they have 5 children, Mike and Shara. It's at night. It's been a long day. They're tired. But they're praying the rosary. A decade of it. And they're leading their kids in the fire. And they're explaining to Makara about how Jesus was pierced in the side and blood and water flowed from his side. You know what Makara did? She started crying because she was engaged in righteousness. The righteousness that Jesus came to bring. If Mike and Shara were basing it on feeling it, do you think they'd be praying the rosary after a long day? Let's just get these kids to bed. Let's get this over with. So that's one thing. Fire's not a high, like, oh, this is a great time, and this is wonderful. It's not like, scoring a touchdown and everything's great and we won. And it's not restricted to 10:30 a.m. Mass on Sunday morning. Never restricted. Always open to ignite us in fire. And it's difficult. That's another point. Jeremiah was righteously engaged. He was telling the people how to live. They threw him in a cistern in the mud to die. What's your attitude when someone calls you on? When someone challenges you? Do you throw them in a cistern? Say, get out of here. I don't want to have anything of it. Because I'm God. I'm calling the shots. Fire will only be explained to us by the one who gives fire. Otherwise, if we don't cooperate with it, we'll never have fire. Jesus, He came to righteously engage us with heaven, the cross of Jesus Christ. So it is difficult. Another example of fire. He is 17 years old, true story. He's presently living. And he was going to a high school dance. And he felt called to go to church. So he was open to righteous engagement to go to church. Went down to church, went to confession. And in that time, when he was 17 years old, on his own, he felt God call him to become a priest. And he said yes. And the priest became a bishop.
Aren't you thankful that he was engaged? Aren't you thankful that he was not limited to 10:30 on Sunday morning? That he was willing to engage back? St. Teresa Benedict of the Cross, she had this observation, and it was powerful in her conversion to Catholicism. She said this. She said, I would see in the busy marketplace people from the streets going into the Catholic Church to pray. And it was as if they were having an intimate conversation with their God. I didn't see that with the Protestants or in the synagogues. And so that was something that she was converted because of their righteous engagement. And now we have her as a great saint and martyr from Auschwitz. To be engaged, to throw ourselves into the fire. And it's pretty obvious, brothers and sisters, that the altar is fire, that the Eucharist is fire, that the tabernacle is fire, that the cross of Jesus Christ is fire, that the stations are fire, that Mary and Joseph are the fire of God, the saints, all these different ways. Now, one thing difficult about the gospel, I hope it is disconcerting to you, because it's counterintuitive. The gospel says, Jesus says, I didn't come to create peace, I came to create division. I want mother-in-law against daughter-in-law, and son against father, all this. Well, the point of all that is, Jesus is saying, I've come so that you might make a choice. And as you make that choice, there could be division. And people in your family could be for you, or people in your family could be against you. I know that, because I know you. I know your family. I know mine. And it is a choice. And either Jesus is Jesus, or he's not. You can't have black and white. You can have white or black, but you can't have them both. And so a choice comes. And that's where the division comes, in that choice, whether we will choose him or not. Why is Christianity so tired? Why is it so routine? Why are people, especially young people, leaving the church in droves? Pope Francis really challenged the bishops down there in Rio de Janeiro. He met with them. He said, we've gone way down in Catholic numbers. Go get them. Maybe because it's so tired and routine. Maybe people aren't engaging in righteousness. Anything else but the righteousness of God. It's fascinating. It's new. It's for us. How does that happen? The key how that happens is prayer. We have to pray. And it's got to be more than a sound bite. If everyone in this church prayed 15 to 20 minutes a day, this place would be on fire. Every day. What if Mike and Shara, what if Makara weren't engaged in fire? We'd be so much lesser people right now. What about Pope Francis? What if he wasn't engaged? How much less would we be?